Hey everyone, it's Elton here, Grumpy Git. So one of the questions I see asked quite often is it worth joining one of the caravan and camping clubs? So in the UK there are two major clubs. There's the Camping and Caravanning Club and the Caravan and Motorhome Club. Both of them cost around about, I think one's 47 and one's £54 a year to become a member. And as a member you get discounts at some of the club sites. So club sites are the larger sites that the clubs actually own and staff, that they employ the staff that work on those sites, etc. And then you get access to what is called certified locations, which are typically smaller sites, maximum of 5 pitches usually. And those sites aren't owned by the clubs, they're owned privately, but they are checked by the clubs to ensure that the facilities that are there, at least the basics anyway. So grey water disposal, chemical toilet disposal, fresh water is there, etc. Those little certified location sites aren't available to the general public, so you have to be a member of one of the clubs to be able to stay at those sites. Now, whether it's worth joining one of those clubs or both of them, if you so desire, is entirely down to how often you are going to use campsites. If you are happy to wild park and take your chances wild parking, then obviously it's not worth joining the clubs. If, like me, you prefer to stay on campsites just for the added security that they offer, there's no 100% guarantee that someone's not going to try and break in or nick your stuff if you're on a campsite. However, the chances are far less than if you parked up on the side of the road. For me, I'm a member of both clubs at the moment. And that is because, as I say, I do tend to stay on campsites. And the more I'm out there and the more I'm hearing other people's stories and reading accounts on Facebook, etc., of people's experiences as van lifers, I feel that my decision is the correct one for now, and in England especially. So on a recent campsite I was at in Chester, I got chatting to a guy who actually showed me a bullet hole in his door, a bullet hole which was put there by a drive-by. Essentially, the chap and his wife were parked up wild parking in North Wales. It was around 10 o'clock, I think he said, in the evening. He heard a car drive past, it beeped its horn, and that was it, nothing else. Then about half an hour later, another vehicle, perhaps the same vehicle, came by, and they heard an almighty bang. Didn't realize what it was until the next morning when they spotted the bullet hole in the door. So yeah, I mean, the weird thing is I left South Africa due to violence and concerns about violence, etc., only to find myself hearing a story about someone's van being shot at in northern Wales. And there are a lot of, when I kind of announced that I was going to be doing a tour of Wales, a lot of people told me that just be wary around North Wales, etc., etc. So far my experience of the people in North Wales is very positive, actually. However, I'm not wild camping, so, and as I say, I will not wild camp personally until I feel or find a spot that I feel is totally safe. I'm not going to have any issues. Because to be honest, I didn't sell up my house and go into this lifestyle to have stress about people breaking into my vehicle or stealing stuff for me. It's just not a stress that I want to have in my life. So yes, it's it means I've got to pay for rent or my pitch every night, but it's 10 or 15 pounds that I'm happy to spend for the peace of mind that it offers me. So again, and also with the certified locations, especially because they are privately owned, I prefer to stick to those little sites because One, they're not as busy as the club sites are, because club sites generally have all the facilities, including shower blocks and toilets and laundries perhaps, and some of them have on-site entertainment for the kids, etc. So they do tend to get rather busy, especially in the peak seasons and holidays, etc. Whereas the smaller CL sites, the certified location sites, they don't typically tend to be full. So last summer, for example, when I just started my van life journey, I didn't have any issues at all throughout the summer holidays finding a certified location pitch. But what I really like about them personally is the fact that you just don't know, you get experiences on them that you just wouldn't get on the larger club sites. So for example, the one I've recently been on was on a working farm where the farmer had actually dedicated some of his land to pastures and stables. So there was also a small little arena for show jumping, etc. on the site. So I had access to some beautiful horses there that I could photograph. He also had some cattle who had calves at the time I was there. So again, another photographic opportunity. And indeed, he was on a flight path to a small airport nearby where they actually build and manufacture Airbus aeroplane wings. So I got to see for the first time in my life actually an Airbus beluga, which looks like a beluga whale. So that was quite interesting. Previous to that, I was on another little site where they had alpacas. Previous to that, I've been on other farm sites where I was able to join the farmer in his while he undertook his daily chores, etc., etc. So yeah, I just feel personally that certified locations just give you an insight or opportunity to see things you wouldn't normally on other larger campsites. So yeah, I hope that's given some clarity. I think the biggest reason for joining a club, besides the fact that you want to stick to campsites, is the discounts you get. So as I said, unless you're a member, you don't get access to the certified locations, and if you are a member, you do get discounted rates on the club sites. So the bigger club sites, the ones that the clubs generally own, a lot of them are open to the general public, but as a member you get priority and you get discounted rates on those sites. So you do save yourself quite a bit of money. If you are doing it on a regular basis, camping, or indeed you're a van lifer who wants to, prefers to stay on sites, it's definitely worth the £50 a year for membership, because I promise you the savings you're going to make will pay for itself within a week or two. So a lot of people I see asking, can anyone recommend a campsite near XYZ on Facebook? Most of those sites, they're looking to pay £20 to £25 a night, where the certified location sites you can get with electrical hookup for about £15 a night. Without electrical hookup, £10 a night. So yeah, as I say, if you're going to stay on campsites on a regular basis, it's definitely worth joining one or both of the clubs, because you are going to get your money back rather quickly anyway. Alright folks, I hope it's been useful. Until next time, be safe, be kind, and be happy. Cheers.